What is iCell Aqua? Come join us on a short journey in the food production industry to see how things work today and then to learn of a new and better way. Outside, a lot is happening. A global crisis of water, food, energy, land, and waste, all documented in great detail by numerous government, NGO, and financial organizations. The water, food, energy nexus is driven by global population growth, increased middle class, and the heavy demand of water and energy for food production. The Fair Collar Initiative is a global network of investors addressing ESG issues in protein supply chains. And as you will learn in the next few minutes, iCell Aqua has a unique solution for 5 of the 9 risks identified by FAIR. Dilute pollution is the most expensive to deal with in industry. The wastewater from a food plant is typically 99% water and about 1% food residuals. The technology to remove it exists today, but it is costly, and in most cases, after removing it, the water and organic residuals are still thrown away. Even at low levels, below 0.1% food load, when water from food processors is land applied under an irrigation license, excess nitrogen builds up in the groundwater, contaminating aquifers and residential wells, or causing hypoxic zones as runoff into rivers and streams and oceans. These contamination problems are real, and they occur somewhere every minute of every day in the USA. Where is all this food wastewater located? North America has hundreds of major food processing facilities, using hundreds of billions of gallons of water per year. A single meat processing company in the USA has published that its water usage was more than 32 billion gallons last year. For all these food processors, their effluent water is something that could be cleaned and repurposed before allowing it back into the environment. Beyond food wastewater, the USA is also rife with solid food waste. More than 30% of our food is thrown away. The numbers are staggering. 80 billion pounds, enough to fill the Empire State Building 1,000 times over. Billions of dollars in value, which simply end up in landfills. And when we waste food, we waste all kinds of other resources too. Water, fertilizer, cropland, fuel, and energy. Resulting in massive amounts of excess greenhouse gas released. All of this food waste and organic loaded water from the food industry is a problem, and yet perhaps it is also an opportunity for recycling back into the protein production cycle. What if a company could take both the food waste and food wastewater from the previous discussion and convert it into a sustainable protein product for animal feeds, and in the same process step, clean and recycle the water for growing fish in a local aquaculture system? That would be an environmental game changer for food production. iCell Aqua, using iCell technology, is that company today. iCell Sustainable, the technology inside iCell Aqua. iCell Sustainable Nutrition, the solution for water and nutrient recycle in food, beverage, and aquaculture industries. Water is a large processing component in the food industry, and that water often picks up the bits and pieces of the food product it has been washing. When this happens, it can be very expensive to clean this water before discharging back to the environment. Land-based recirculating aquaculture systems, LB-ROS, are the future of sustainable seafood production. And yet one of the largest issues they face is dealing with all the water that is needed, both from a production standpoint and a regulatory discharge standpoint. water that must be kept clean for the fish and shrimp to grow, and water that must be cleaned before sending it back to the environment. And that is a costly problem. iCell brings a unique and patented solution to LB Ross. The ability to use existing water from food processing industries as both a recycled water source and an environment to grow a natural protein ingredient. How? First, the water is cleaned by iCell through a fermentation process whereby iCell's microbial proteins eat the organic matter in the water. When this happens, the microbes are cleaning the water of the organic material. This source water can actually be from most any type of food processing industry: seafood, poultry, pork, food or beverage. After this microbial biomass is grown, it is then harvested, dewatered, and dried into a single-cell protein, SCP ingredient. This SCP is then used as an ingredient in the feed formulations of shrimp, salmon, trout, and other aquaculture species. It can also be used for high-growth land animal species such as poultry, swine, and beef. The iCell solution is not only sustainable, it is carbon negative. How? Without the iCell process to convert the nutrients in the food processing water into a feed ingredient, those same carbon-based nutrients end up decomposing and converting into methane, a greenhouse gas which is 25 times more powerful than CO2. iCell brings together two water processes which are normally considered separate: seafood farming and seafood production. iCell integrates them such that the result is the conversion of what would have been waste organic matter into a valuable protein feed ingredient, and at the same time creates a recycled water stream. iCell Sustainable Nutrition, cleaning water and creating single-cell protein, SCP feed ingredients. iCell Aqua employs the iCell process to address food efficiency in a new and more environmentally friendly way. Lean protein is one of the most expensive components of food to grow. Carbohydrates, fats, and fiber are easy and cheap to produce. But protein is different. It is a more complex molecule. Creating protein with a good amino acid profile is critical for human and animal nutrition. Protein usually requires a lot of land and water. An iCell Aqua site can produce 500 metric tons of protein on 1 acre of land versus the 350 acres needed for the same amount of soybeans. And it can produce this protein with less than half the energy required for other protein ingredients. Every 1 acre iCell Aqua site is like removing the carbon from 10,000 cars from the road. iCell Aqua also addresses seafood sustainability. The USA consumes billions of dollars of seafood each year. A large majority of it is imported, and much of it is wild-caught, which has sustainable catch issues and the accompanying destruction of seafloors. Seafood from ocean aquaculture has its issues as well. Dead zones created in the ocean near the pens, and heavy chemical and antibiotic use to prevent diseases and sea lice which naturally occur in the environment. The USA is one of the most productive farming nations in the world, but it has yet to bring seafood farming to the local communities across the country. Why? The major factor is the water required for fish farms. Permits to use huge volumes of fresh water from aquifers and then getting the subsequent environmental discharge permits for that water can take years in the USA. Traditional land-based recirculating aquaculture, LB Ross, face the same issues as existing terrestrial farming. iCell Aqua is approach to LB Ross eliminates aquifer water required for the system. This closed-loop approach keeps out the disease and other issues faced by ocean aquaculture, thus eliminating the need for antibiotics, chemicals for sea lice treatment, and the dead zones in the ocean floor. Simply put, iCell Aqua is best-in-class aquaculture compared to standard LB Ross systems. We de-risk standard aquaculture using patented water technology and a distributed production model. The environmental impact with iCell Aqua seafood is a fraction of the other options. Ocean trawling damages thousands of years of seafloor growth, and ocean aquaculture creates continuous medium-term issues. LBROS, the future, but only iCell makes LBROS fully sustainable. From an investment point of view, when it comes to treating organic waste, the iCell Aqua is an approach which is multiple times better than anaerobic digestion for biogas production. The same organic load that produces $25 of methane via biogas can instead be fed into an iCell Aqua site that results in thousands of dollars of seafood and protein production. The issues that we have just reviewed, food waste and wastewater that needs to be treated and cleaned, the world's need for increased amounts of protein, and employing distributed aquaculture to save our oceans are the drivers for iCell Aqua. Yes, we have arrived. iCell Aqua is the nexus of clean, recycled water, sustainable protein feed ingredients, and sustainable aquaculture production. It is the most complete and environmentally friendly approach available to industry and investors today. iCell Aqua is that business, and it is ready to bring the integrated solution to market now.